Move the sticks, rocking and rolling here on a Monday. Today we're taking a deep dive into Sunday's biggest games, including Rodgers over the Rams, the Bucs comeback versus the Colts, and the Pats topping the Titans. Plus, some extra helpings after this Thanksgiving weekend, including what happened on Sunday Night Football and what the tape says about big days from Burrow and Elijah Mitchell. And it was the hire that sent shockwaves through all of football. What Lincoln Riley to USC means for quarterbacks, coaches, and scouts in both college and the NFL. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Great to be back here with you on another Monday as we welcome you to Move the Sticks, presented by Grifols Plasma Donation Centers. I'm Rhett Lewis here with our former NFL scouts, lead draft analyst Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks here on. Guys, am I wrong in saying that this is one of the best times just in all of football? You had rivalry week in college football. We're getting ready for championship week in college football, and we're separating contenders and pretenders in the NFL. Doesn't get much better, does it?
Yeah, it's getting a little bit cooler outside out here in Southern California. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
And
nice.
How about this is your home for the merging of the college and NFL worlds here, especially with that huge hire we just talked about, Lincoln Riley heading to USC from Oklahoma. We're going to get to that here in a moment. But let's begin like we always do on a Monday with our big three. And we did have a big one in the NFC, a clash of contenders from Lambeau Field. And the Packers proving their mettle. 36-28 win. Good news for the Rams, though. They got OBJ involved with a TD late, but Matthew Stafford off the mark for much of this game, especially early. Threw another pick six, third and 3 games, and the Rams unable to toe the line as an NFC elite. Now losers of 3 in a row. And Bucky, the Packers continue to get it done on defense. How do they take care of business against the Rams here?
Look, man, Joe Burrow has done a great job with this defense. This defense plays a little more zone coverage, more eyes on the quarterback, and so they're able to get their hands on more balls. And the reason why they're able to play this coverage is because up front, they have some guys that are able to get it done. Rashawn Gary being able to get around the quarterback, change the timing of the passing game. They're able to stop the run. But Joe Burrow has really turned this defense into a very solid defense. And as much as we talk about the Packers being a one-man show with Aaron Rodgers, this is one of the best teams, if not the best team in football, because they're complete on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and I think, look, Matthew Stafford make life a little easier on Joe Burrow and that Packers defense, too, because when you go back, the pick six you see right there, that's a 3-hitch throw for him. He's locked on. It is 3 hitches. His eyes never leave. He delivers the football. They're trying to get it to Cooper Kupp, and it's a pick six. You just can't do that. You can go through that game, and you can see he's got underneath outlet options available. He doesn't take them. His eyes are too fixated down the field. You've got to take what the defense presents you. That's a great example right there on the pick six. Just throw the ball in the middle of the field. You got a 10-yard completion just sitting there waiting for you.
Big play Rasul Douglas out here.
No kidding. Talk about 2 of the biggest plays of the year.
Yeah.
And then there's other times I also have to look at it and say, there's some familiarity, too, with this group. When you look on the other side of the ball, the ball will be delivered. You see 3 Packers driving on Odell Beckham, knowing exactly where it's going.
That play was crazy to see that they were following Stafford's eyes for sure on that one. Here's the other thing. You mentioned Rashawn Gary really providing some pressure, especially in the absence of Zadarius Smith for much of this season. Man, it just did not see a ton from Von Miller and Aaron Donald in this game for the LA Rams, in a game where you expect them to feast on an offensive line that's been ravaged by injury for Green Bay. No David Bakhtiari, no Elton Jenkins, but you're looking at Miller and Donald with just 6 combined pressures on some 82 rushes. Like that can't happen for a team and a defense that relies on star power.
Look
like
at his
Von
pockets.
Miller,
Look at the pockets that he's throwing.
So clean.
That game.
Yeah.
So clean.
And so that was terrific work there by this kind of patchwork offensive line for the Green Bay Packers that has done really well with some adversity this year due to injury, and certainly helps having Rodgers.
By the way, isn't it interesting how some teams don't even talk about injuries? They just go out there and play.
Yeah, they just go out and keep winning.
I feel like we hear all these teams, we don't have this guy, we don't have that guy, and woe is me, woe is me. No, just go out and play the game and win. Everybody's got injuries.
Is there a team that you trust more right now than the Green Bay Packers?
I mean, look, I think they're very trustworthy because when you have a 3-time MVP at quarterback, you have a defense that is balling out of control, and the emergence of the big back, A.J. Dillon, they have everything that you look for.
I mean, and they're not even getting a huge contribution from Aaron Jones, who's been one of the most explosive players out of the backfield, too. So, all right, let's move on. Game number 2. In the land of Jonathan Taylor touchdowns, we take you to Indianapolis. It was Lenny 4 tutties that got it done as the running back of note in this one. Indy's 4 second-half turnovers and Fournette's 4 touchdowns for Tampa, key in a Bucs win over quality opponent, comes from behind and limiting Jonathan Taylor by this stingy Bucs rush defense.
Yeah, I mean, nobody runs the ball on us. You know, I don't care who the hell you are. I mean, you're going to end up throwing it because if you're going to run it all day, you're not going to get much. And they did that last drive. You know, we were a little bit playing pass defense, and they ran it on us. But I'll take our run defense versus anybody's run offense anytime.
Vita Vea may have lost a tooth during the game. I don't know if you were aware of that.
I don't care. You know, you got 30 other ones. You ain't gonna play without a tooth. I mean, that ain't nothing.
Oh, Bruce, we love you. He's got more teeth. They don't need one of them. Like, what's the big deal here, right? Oh, man, that was great. And look, this rush defense for Tampa Bay has been one of the best units, one of the best aspects of any offense or defense over the last 2 years. And Vita Vea has been a big part of it, too.
Yeah, Vita Vea gets a lot of attention. We saw there with the tooth. And you watch this tape, you'll see his combination of skills, his ability to hold the point of attack. You see him take on singles. You'll see him throw his hip at double teams. You see plays like this one where he'll just get right around blocks and make plays with his quickness and athleticism in chase. But I'm telling you, when you watch this tape, and you watch what Sue does, who gets a lot of attention as well for what he's done in his career. But for me, William Golston,
92.
Yeah.
He is underrated. I'm sitting there watching this. I'm going, 92 is generating so much knockback. They are playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. They're excellent with their hands. That's as good of a run-stopping front as I've seen in a long time.
Man, they are special for sure. And Bucky, look, I mean, the Bucs offense on the comeback was certainly aided by the fact that the Colts turned it over at a clip you just can't win with.
No, you can't. You can't win with the number of turnovers that they had. 5 turnovers on the day, 4 turnovers in the second half. And we just know the percentages tell you, man, you lose the turnover battle, you're going to lose the game. And for the Indianapolis Colts, a team that led the league in turnover differential coming into the game, it's really an out-of-character performance. And so this is one where Frank Wright will kind of kick himself just wondering, man, how do we let this game go? Because they just simply didn't take care of the football. And if they take care of the football, this is a game that they had in hand. They were dominating.
Yeah, 2 pieces to that, right? 24 points off turnovers for the Bucs in this game. And then Jonathan Taylor absolutely quieted for a large chunk of this game. I think they went 23, some 20-plus plays without handing it off to Taylor until they got back into it with JTT at the end. Here's how the Bucs got back into it, in addition to the turnovers, Bucky. Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, yeah.
7 catches, over 100 yards on just 9 targets. And Next Gen Stats has a nice piece out there on Gronk generating some 5 yards of separation on average in this game, by far the most he's had this season. And big piece of that, the way he and Tom Brady operate in the middle of the field, guys, that connection they have, Brady's pinpoint accuracy and then Gronk's knack for finding that hole between the second and third levels on those kind of in-bender routes from the slot. I mean, like, that's a thing of beauty.
By the way, JTT, is that Jonathan Taylor Thomas? Is that like home improvement?
No. Jonathan Taylor touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
JTT.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were spinning that back.
No. Hawk told me about this. I had not been alerted, but I thought you'd get more of a kick out of Lenny Fortutti's.
Oh,
No,
I mean, I got that.
All right.
I don't know if DJ heard. I heard.
Bucky was early on the Tuds. Okay, you remember that from our Game Day Live days. Remember the Tuds?
Yeah.
Tuds were a big deal. All right, let's move on to Game 3, shall we? And let's go to Foxborough. Hottest team in football, baby. Here you go. Your New England Patriots hosting the injury-ravaged Tennessee Titans. Offense still ran the heck out of the ball with Dontrell Hilliard and Deontay Foreman for Tennessee, but it just wasn't enough. That Patriots pass defense proving again to be one of the best units in football. J.C. Jackson, another INT. You're going to see it right here from Tannehill off the deflection. In the red zone, Patriots winners of 6 straight, 36-13 is your final. And let's just take a gander at what the Patriots have done over the course of the last 6 wins here. How about that opponent passer rating? 52 combined. Okay, the turnover differential plus 13. 11 of those are interceptions. That's all best in the league. DJ, this Patriots defense, this pass defense in particular, what are they doing so well to get this thing done?
5 touchdowns, 11 picks. They haven't had anybody throw for more than 223 yards against them during this streak that they're on. And look, they're just doing things assignment sound. They know where their help is. That sounds like a really kind of a common thing But, Buck, it might be really uncommon when you watch around the league. These guys know where they have help. They play leverage correctly. And you end up throwing into so many traps in these coverages because they know where their help is located.
Yeah, no, they do a really good job of understanding how to pass guys off. And you talk about this match coverage that they're playing. It's just confounding because you think it's man-to-man on vertical routes. It turns into zone on crossers. And if you're a quarterback that is impatient and jumpy, you make mistakes because you can't quite figure out who's going to be where.
For the Patriots on offense, Mac Jones, again, if I was giving him a grade today, it'd be a B. I thought he did some nice things. He missed a wide-open Hunter Henry. It felt like early or late in the first half, and then got away with the ball that should have been picked. But, man, that throw to Kendrick Bourne was absolutely on the money. And the thing that keeps coming to mind when I watch Mac is Good Will Hunting. Yeah. It's Will on the mirror, like drawing out the equation. It all just comes to him so quickly.
Real quick though, because you gave him a B.
Yeah.
I want to know what you would give him on this one play here, real quick. Can you? Roll that
are we coming
quick?
up? Are we coming up on the rush?
Right here. What do we give this right here? And we got it. Boom.
Nope.
Not 3
So what he thought was he was going to get a penalty. He acknowledged and laughed it off. I thought it was pretty funny and a self-aware moment at the end. I'd like to see a little bit more awareness in the moment on the premature celebration for the first down on 3rd and 10, in which he gained, I think, 4 yards or something. And he gave you the double on it. That's he was really this way. He was going all in. So look, Mac, we appreciate you here on the show, man, and just kind of be alert. Be alert to that down and distance there.
Hey, Mac. You know who still loves you?
This guy. Wait, that guy loves you. All right. Let's move it on here on Move the Sticks when we come back. Great moments are born from great opportunity. In just a bit, we'll tell you who took advantage of those opportunities in Week 12. And we are also taking you back to Sunday Night Football. Browns and Ravens. What's going on in the AFC North? Plus a look at Joe Burrow and Elijah Mitchell from the Bengals and 49ers next. All right, back here with you on this Monday edition of Move the Sticks, presented by Grifols Plasma Donation Centers. Reminder, in addition to today's episode, 2 more coming up for you this week. 3 each week, 3 episodes of Move the Sticks, and you can get them all right to your smartphone by scanning that QR code with the camera app on your phone to download the latest shows. Well, the latest game from Week 12 wasn't the prettiest. That we did see two of the best catches by tight ends in this game that we've seen this season, depending on what your opinion of that catch from David Njoku was. That was a crazy play on review. But that was about where the fireworks ended in this one. 4 interceptions from Lamar Jackson, but still able to get a 16-10 victory over the Cleveland Browns, who have now fallen to 500 at 6-6 here, guys. DJ, this felt like a mismatch of strengths and weaknesses when you match up the Browns offense and the Ravens defense.
Well, styles make fights, right?
Yeah.
We say that forever. And this Browns team is built to be a bully. They're built to be physical along the line of scrimmage. They want to run the ball down your throat. They want to dominate you with their defensive front. Well, the defensive front did their part. They did an excellent job of creating pressure and making life tough on Lamar Jackson. But offensively, they couldn't get anything done because they couldn't take advantage of the weakness of the Baltimore Ravens, which is their back end and their secondary. We've seen them get torched by some teams this year. The Cleveland Browns aren't equipped to do that. So when you got a run game and that's what you're dependent on and you want to try and bully the Baltimore Ravens, Buck, this is a lot of alliteration. Bucky, you can't bully the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow, did it.
You can't bully them. You want to beat them up. You want to run it at them, and you just can't move them off the ball. And so it's problematic for a Browns team that also has a tough time throwing to anyone outside of tight ends and running backs.
Yeah, there's the final play by number 54, Tyus Bowser.
How about that?
All over the field.
He can fly.
Second-round pick out of Houston back in 2017 for the Ravens has really come on as kind of an all-over-the-field playmaker for that defense. And the other thing that I'll look at with this one, guys, is Lamar Jackson. I mean, you win a game with 4 interceptions. Like, obviously they're doing something right on defense, but what does that tell you about Lamar?
No, he was just off. I mean, he's been off. He's had these moments where he just hasn't necessarily been able to put it together. And this is me understanding that he is everything to their offense. He's the straw that stirs the drink and makes it happen. They're trying to really up the ante when it comes to their pass game. But there you see it, 7 interceptions in the last 3 games. Typically, the turnover battle is the biggest determining factor in who wins games. Luckily for the Baltimore Ravens, they have a really solid defense, and they are tough as nails when it comes to their mental and physical toughness. They were able to overcome those miscues and find a way to get it done. But they're going to need Lamar Jackson to play better if they're going to make the deep postseason run that everyone wants them to make.
The good thing this is the NFL and not college football, because style points are never in the Ravens' favor. It's not pretty, but they just get the job done.
I felt like we sat here about 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, when we first learned of the injuries that had started to mount for Baker Mayfield, and we were talking about how this was going to be a crucial stretch. Do whatever you can to pile up some W's going into this bye week, which they're going to be on now going into this week, and then get a little bit healthy and then make a stretch run. Man, it's feeling less and less likely that that's going to be the case here. And again, this was a missed opportunity for Cleveland. How often are you going to turn the ball over on an opposing quarterback 4 times, pick them off 4 times, and have your defense hold that offense that has been pretty explosive at times to 16? You can't muster up 17? You can't get 17 from your offense to go out and win a game in the division that was going to allow you to really continue to make a claim as a playoff team. Man, I don't feel as good about the Cleveland Browns right now.
Well, I was never really a fully believer in
wow.
But how did Mac Jones?
Revisionist history.
This guy is in the Super Bowl.
Man, yeah, you were all in on that. Let's reel that one back. Yeah, I think the line broke. You went heavy on that one. All right, so that's where we're at with the Ravens and the Browns, who are going to meet again in Week 14, right? After the Browns get a bye, so they play the Ravens back-to-back weeks. That's kind of one of those crazy scheduling anomalies. But the Ravens are getting a push in the division. Well, the Cincinnati Bengals really figuring things out of their bye week. They went into the bye in Week 10 on a 2-game losing streak, come out on a 2-game win streak, and the best offense in football over the course of the last 2 weeks. And look at that point differential, plus 50 after a big-time win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, their first sweep of Pittsburgh since 2009 in the division. So let's stop and watch what's been going on with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals offense. It feels like, DJ, in a season that was defined early by explosives to Jamar Chase, has now come to be kind of described by efficiency, with Joe Burrow career high, completing almost 84% of his passes this last week.
And no doubt, and you look at what they've done on the ground with Joe Mixon, they've added the physicality to their offense as well. But I want to show you just a couple plays here, Buck, with Joe Joe Burrow to show you where the confidence level is and the faith and the trust is. I want to keep an eye here on this matchup. Look at this cushion here. Look at all this cushion you've got here. Okay, that would tell you, okay, we're going to have to check up underneath this. You've got the safety way up there on the numbers. So there's one-on-one here. You think, okay, we got some type of a comeback going. No, we're going to take a deep shot down the field. I want to pause this right as he's getting ready to throw. Okay, the ball's up. Look where the defender is.
Perfect position from a DB. Right on top. He has it. He's under control. This should be telling Joe Burrow, no, don't take this shot.
Well, he does take the shot because he believes in T. Higgins, and watch him go up, high point the football, ends up being a touchdown. So you see some of that faith and trust he has, and you know as a quarterback, hey, worst case scenario, my guy, it's going to be an incompletion. Okay, we're going to knock it down. We're not going to throw a pick here, but we're going to give him a chance to make a play, and he does it. Now I want to show you this next one here. Talk about a big boy throw. This, to me, is it. Down here on the bottom, you're going to see this comeback. It's a beautiful route by T. Higgins. You see where this ball is. I want you to keep an eye on these two defenders. Look where the two defenders, you got underneath defender coming right underneath this.
That's a great
You've got to
throw.
get it over and under there on the sideline. That is such a tremendous throw. But I want you to see it here from the end zone to gain another appreciation for it. First of all, my man's got to get the snap up a little bit here, Buck. But to be able to climb up in the pocket, and you see the layering of the football. But I want you to watch right here. Watch his head. Just look at where his eyes are to be able to hold this safety right here. And make sure you've got a true one-on-one. He does it confidently, steps into it. You can see he already knows where he's going with the football before he even climbs up in the pocket. It's beautiful understanding, it's faith, and it's trust.
Well, those two plays go together because you saw the go ball to run the defensive back off, and then you have the comeback to come up underneath. Joe Burrow is playing outstanding ball, but you're right. The timing and synergy between the thrower and the catchers, outstanding in Cincinnati.
Bengals had a streak of scoring on 9 straight possessions going back from week 11 to 12. It's been a really good run here for the Bengals. Speaking of good running, how about the 49ers rushing offense here? Tops in the league in terms of carries with 125, then making the most of them. Got 5 rushing TDs since week 10, and they've been doing it with a whole cast of characters, including Deebo Samuel at wide receiver, or perhaps wingback, as Bucky Brooks has alluded to a number of times here, and they are getting it done on the ground, setting new season highs in rushing yards in each of the last 3 weeks. And Bucky, Elijah Mitchell, over 100 in this one. How's Kyle Shanahan getting it done for this offense on the ground right now?
You know, it's funny about the San Francisco 49ers. You always look at their tape to see all the bells and whistles. So I was excited to look at the tape to see what kind of stuff Kyle Shanahan had cooked up. But guess what, DJ? He's not doing anything different. This is a whole stretch play. This is the stuff that they've always done. We go back, we talk about elephants on parade, find a lane. Elijah Mitchell is just doing what they've always done. All these guys, hat on a hat. Trent Williams is going to take out 2 on the backside. And what Elijah Mitchell is just going to do, he's going to take it out here. He's going to look for the cutback lane. Bang. And then we're going to go to the backside, and we're gone.
Look at this. Look at what Trent's done here and created this pile. And then you end up with this huge cutback lane.
But look at my man right here. He's fighting to go over the top because, oh, they're running. He runs right past the play.
Watch the second level here. Watch these linebackers. You talk about that flow. You can't be right. You can't be right. You got to get over there. You got to get over there. Well, boom. Now he's cut to the backside, and now you're chasing him from behind here.
And so these are the plays that Mike Shanahan, way back in the day when I was playing in the mid-'90s, that's what they were running. So here we go again. So now, I love this motion that we have over here. Got this. We're going to bring him out. So watch the effect that it has on my man that's hanging out here to keep him back. And then we still have front side flow, but we're going to bring it to the backside. Oh. We got the cutback. We have the alley. The fake reverse holds everybody here. So we have this huge lane that's coming right in here.
Look at the angle here. I want you to keep an eye. Let me clear the screen here. I want you to keep an eye on the fullback. Watch this kind of wind back here. He's going to give you a couple steps here, and then it's going to create the angle for him to help seal the edge here. Watch how this sets up this angle. Right here, now he's got on the outside. He's on the outside to seal it, and off you go.
There you go, the juice. Getting it done right there. The San Francisco 49ers using a 3-game win streak now to get back over 500 for the first time since week 3 and scoring 30 or more points in each of those 3 victories. A lot more to get to here on this Monday edition of Move the Sticks. Coming up next, when opportunity knocks in the NFL, not everyone answers. After the break, who stepped up in week 12 and who missed their chance?
Cordero sweeping left around the edge, hit the pylon, touchdown Atlanta.
Deflected and intercepted. Pass Surtain down the west sideline. This may be a house call.
Down the sideline goes Debo. Touchdown! Dead foot and all. Aaron Rodgers with a beautiful play fake.
You know, that ball never touched the ground. Yes, touchdown!
A cutback run by Zach Wilson, and the Jets have the lead.
Cincinnati is embarrassing Pittsburgh so far today.
Wow. Battle for the ball and a pick by Whitfield.
Tiptoes it above the 18.
Into the end zone. Jackson deep drop, lobs it to the end zone. Touchdown! And Lamar Jackson pulls off the improbable.
All right, so from some of the best sights and sounds of Week 12, we give you our Elite Eight. And for today's version of the Elite Eight, we're looking at opportunities. Those that were taken advantage of and those that were missed. And with that, Bucky, let's start with an opportunity that the Patriots have been seizing, it feels like, for the last 6 weeks or so.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely have been seizing it. The Patriots know who they are. And I think that's the toughest thing for any team to figure out who you are and to play to the identity of your team based on your personnel, your strengths and weaknesses. The Patriots have done that. They have figured out that they have an elite defense where they can blanket and suffocate anybody. So they're playing to the strengths of that unit. They're running the football because it controls the clock. It shrinks the game. And then they're beginning to give Mac Jones a little bit each week to allow him to control it from the line of scrimmage. As a result, they've reeled off 6 straight wins, and they're looking like the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, know your formula. They know what they do. They know who they are. Look, I'm going to go the other side and go with a missed opportunity, and that was with the Chargers in this game on the road against the Denver Broncos. They win that game. They're in first place because they would have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs, and they'd have beaten them head-to-head. Now you're looking at a complete logjam here in the division. There are 3 teams now tied below the Kansas City Chiefs. So a huge opportunity for them. They had opportunities in this game, moving the ball up and down the field. 4 possessions ended inside the 37 with no points. 2 picks, loss of downs, missed field goal. Can't happen.
I will see your missed opportunity by the LA Chargers and give you one as well for the Philadelphia Eagles. An opportunity because of the Cowboys' loss on Thanksgiving to come within a game of the NFC East leading Cowboys in the win column if they could have gotten past the Giants on Sunday. Jalen Hurts goes from rushing for 3 touchdowns a week ago to throwing 3 interceptions in an Eagles offense that we've been handing all the flowers to for their work on the ground. Fails and misses an opportunity to gain ground in the division in a game they absolutely should have had.
I feel like you guys are so negative over there. So I'm going to add a little levity to the situation. Okay. I'm going to bring positivity. Right, we're almost in holiday season.
He didn't even say Jalen Reagor's name.
I know, he didn't even say it, but I just feel like that. How about Cordero Patterson stepping up and being all things the Falcons needed?
Golly, you've got a lot of nicknames today.
Well, this was mine.
That's what we're doing.
Cordero, yeah.
So look, he's being able to put the ball in the paint. He gave them exactly what they needed. Had a 100-yard game on the ground, made a couple catches, and he's a one-man show for the Falcons. They needed it. They get a win. And as a result, they're still in the postseason because 84 is getting it done.
Well, you go positive. I'm going to stay positive. Yeah. I'm going to stay receiver because how many people rolled their eyes when you saw the Raiders had signed Deshaun Jackson? They couldn't get it done with the Rams. It was not a great fit. So they're going to take a flyer on him. They had a need at the position. Well, Deshaun's making the most of it. He made some plays there against the Dallas Cowboys. You see their 100-yard game. One big play in that one. And they needed to replace some speed. He has brought that. Yeah. And maybe this is his last opportunity, but hey, let's give him some credit. He's making the most of it.
And by the way, for the Cowboys, learning Mike McCarthy testing positive for COVID-19 will be without their head coach as they move forward this Thursday Night Football, kicking off Week 13 against the New Orleans Saints. All right, I'll move on to another taking advantage of an opportunity. That's Trey Hendrickson. Nobody entered free agency on a better note than Trey Hendrickson last year with the New Orleans Saints and has capitalized it again in his first year with the Cincinnati Bengals, leading the team with 10.5 sacks. He's got a sack in 7 straight games. He's just been a phenomenally consistent and productive player for a Bengals team that did really well in free agency this year. Chidobe Awuzie has done a nice job. Eli Apple had a pick 6 in this game. They've gotten some real contributions in free agency.
They have gotten real contributions because they've really gone about the approach of going after blue-collar guys. Where the Green Bay Packers have a blue-collar running back, his name is A.J. Dillon. Big physical back. They took him in the second round a couple years ago. Look, to the chagrin of some people saying that Aaron Rodgers needed another weapon. Well, this is the weapon that he needed. He needed a tank, someone that could run the football, particularly when the weather turned cold and it's inclement and they're able to grind it out. He is giving them the banger that they needed. Love what I'm seeing from this offense because I believe the Packers offense might be one of the more balanced offenses that we will see, and that balance is going to help them when they get into the postseason.
Yeah, some high school kids watching that video going, I was going to tight end, linebacker. I think I want to play tight end. I don't want to tackle guys like that. That's right. Look, to me, for my final one, I want to go to a couple rookies and give some flowers here to the Miami Dolphins because they have 2 rookies playing outstanding. Jalen Phillips had 3 sacks this week. He's got 6.5 now on the season, second most among rookies. So he's been outstanding, really coming on over the last few weeks. We had him as the best pass rusher in the draft, Buck. I think you did too.
Yep.
He's so fluid and so smooth across the edge. It's coming together for him. And then Javon Holland in the back end, a safety out of Oregon who can play some safety, can play some nickel. If you ever wonder where he is, just find the football. That's where you will find right Javon Holland. He has got outstanding instincts, and the speed plays. His speed is real. It shows up on video.
And we had been critical of the Dolphins and some of their choices, some of their draft. I mean, Jalen Waddle played well in this game and has played well all season long. They really feels like they hit on these first 3 picks of this last year's draft.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
But Tua's playing.
Tua's also playing.
Oh, no, people don't want to do that.
Don't say it too loud.
Okay. That would change that narrative in a hurry if Tua continues that kind of progress. All right, we've got a lot more to get to in a big story, the biggest story maybe of the entire football weekend. That man right there, Lincoln Riley.
My phone won't stop buzzing from coaches about this thing.
Heading to USC. We'll dig in on what that means and how that might translate to the NFL level when we come back here on Move the Sticks. All right, back here with you on Move the Sticks. I want to alert you to current episode of the NFL Inside Report podcast where Steve Weich helps me detail all of the adversity the Las Vegas Raiders have faced this year and how they are dealing with it. You can scan the QR code right now on your screen with that camera app on your smartphone. You get that episode downloaded right to you. Okay, let's kick off another edition of our rookie report cards, and let's go to Zach Wilson here, DJ, in his return to the lineup.
Yeah, I'm going to end up giving him a C+ here. It was a rough start. That first quarter was hard on the eyes. And My biggest takeaway really is he's making the easy things hard. Some of these easy underneath completions he's missing, but then he makes a couple throws. You're like, oh my gosh, there's not many guys that can make that throw. So you've just got to start getting some boring completions, start getting your feet in the ground, clean up some of that stuff, and you've got something to work with here. But it's a win, so take the win if you're the Jets, and hopefully Zach Wilson's going to get better as the season goes along.
Yeah, look, he certainly can play better. He got more comfortable as the game went on, but most importantly, he got them in the win column.
Nice of you to give Trevor Lawrence a break from the report cards this week. The Jags fell to the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, let's move on to the biggest news from the weekend. Lincoln Riley leaving Norman, Oklahoma, in the Sooners football program, which he had built up and continued as one of a perennial Big 12 championship contender and a college football playoff contender, and now heading west, trying to bring the balance of power in college football back out to the West Coast, joining the USC Trojans as their next head football coach. There's a look for Big 12 titles in his time there as the head coach at OU. College football playoff appearances 3 times. Didn't win a game there, but I think USC would certainly love to have that kind of record in the CFP based on what they've dealt with the last few years. And then has had a number of Heisman Trophy winners at quarterback, of course, in Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. As we get to Scout Stories now presented by Grifols Plasma Donation Centers. Rhett Lewis, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks here with you. So, DJ, when you look at this hire, which is just, the magnitude of this hire, I think we'll continue to see, and we will see here on the pro level as well. How are NFL scouts and evaluators now looking at this huge move from USC to bring, Lincoln Riley in as head coach? And what does it mean for scouts who once flocked to USC, and that was must-see for them?
Yeah, my buddies on the West Coast in the scouting world are very excited because, as Bucky knows, we did this together. Yeah. Those are 2-day visits. So normally you go into a school, it's a 1-day visit, you move on to the next school. Back in the Pete Carroll years, that was 2 full days you had to put on your calendar to be down there, to be able to watch all the guys that they had. And Bucky, as a high school coach in the area, you know the talent here in Southern California, if you can get it collected on one campus, which USC used to be able to do, you are a juggernaut. And they've got a chance with Lincoln Riley to get back to those days. And I'll also add, this is kind of the quarterback capital of the world down here in Southern California. And you see these guys going and playing for Alabama, Ohio State, Ole Miss. That's not going to happen anymore with Lincoln Riley here in Southern California.
I mean, just think about that. You talked about 3 quarterbacks that are in the mix: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Matt Corral. Guys that were right here in Southern California. And so it has to start there. We've talked about it on the podcast. USC needs to recruit just in Southern California, and they can be fine.
Right.
The quarterback situation is interesting to me because I look at the quarterbacks that Oklahoma had successfully: Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, all athletic playmakers. When we look at the history of USC, they traditionally haven't kind of fished in those waters. So we will see if they have a different kind of quarterback that plays this style of offense that they play.
Also, they put out a couple decent offensive linemen at Oklahoma, too, over the last few years. And at USC, that is where they've got to start. They've got to upgrade that offensive line. They've had one here or there, Elijah Vera Tucker, Austin Jackson, but it does not look like what it looked like during those Pete Carroll years. And I think look, we live out here. There is an excitement level in the area. You can definitely sense it. USC is big. I mean, when you think about Los Angeles, when USC is rolling, it is a big deal out here.
Yeah, no question. And I think the point you make about the quarterbacks, because, like Lincoln's put, 3 of them into the NFL in the last 4 years. 2 Heisman trophies and 2 number-1 overall picks. By the way, talk about developing players. Yeah.
These are guys who weren't really playing at Texas Tech or
That's right.
A&M.
Kyler Murray transferred in.
And all of a sudden, not only they start, these guys are number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, the ripple effects, again, in the college football world is huge. Now who goes to Oklahoma and all of that. I know you guys are going to get into that on tomorrow's edition of Move the Sticks. So be sure that you are subscribed and ready to download tomorrow's episode of Move the Sticks. More on Lincoln Riley leaving OU to be the head coach at USC. All right, more to come here on Move the Sticks when we come back. Luke Kuechly joined the pod last week and had some real interesting comments on the evolution of run game in the NFL and on one of the trends that we've seen with those 2 high safeties this year in the pass game. We'll dig into that next. Luke Kuechly, one of the best linebackers of a generation, 5-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Player of the Year winner, and a stalwart of the Carolina Panthers defenses for almost a decade. Got into scouting briefly in Carolina and joined our scouts on a recent episode of the Move the Sticks podcast talking about the evolution of NFL run game.
I think the beginning of my career, I came in at the right time for how I played. I loved, run fits. I loved gap scheme runs because it was really pretty straightforward. It's like this guy is going to be the guy that blocks me. If I can beat him, I'll make a play on the ball every time. Versus the wide zone, the ball is going to hit wherever there's a crease, wherever there's a seam, whether, the 3 technique gets cut out or I get reached in the B gap. The game's changed more from 21 and 12 and kind of pounding the ball and heavy play action to spread it out, wide zone, boots, and then shots down the field. So to me, I think I was very fortunate to get in when I did because I think my game was more predicated towards that gap scheme, play action, not as much spread them out as they're doing now.
I don't know. I think that's a little humble there of Luke Kuechly, who probably would have succeeded in any generation playing the linebacker the way he did. But DJ and Bucky up at the screen right now, and give us a sense of what he's talking about. Put that to picture with the tape right now in those run fits and how he was able to defend them.
Yeah, I think about key, read, flow, and fill. That's what you're able to do against some of these runs that he's talking about. Let's keep an eye at these 3 linebackers here at the second level.
Tony Romo in there.
You're going to see the tight end come down. You're going to see a puller here. You're going to see a fullback leading up here. So everything is declared, Buck, right? You know exactly what's coming when you're at that second level. And watch how fast they fill and flow here to be able to make this play. And then just chest him up and get him on the ground here. You see it one more time. We've slowed the video down for you here so you can get a good look at it.
Watch how fast both of those guys. Thomas Davis, 58. Luke Kuechly.
That's good.
Running.
Yeah, it's very clean and simple on the eyes there. Now we go to this next play. Now we're going to look at what you see here with the 49ers and what they do. Again here, watch these linebackers at the second level. Let me back it up here and freeze it. I want you to keep an eye on him. Watch his eyes as he's trying to figure out, okay, where is this thing going to hit? Kuechly talked about, are they going to end up trying to cut this run up? Is it going to come all the way out here to the perimeter? Watch him in a bind that he's put in here as he's trying to see this. How do I get there? Okay, let me hold up. Oh, wait, now I'm too late. Deebo Samuel's gone.
Yeah, because the 49ers there, not a lot of pin and pull. Everything is flowing. And because of that, you don't know what is going to happen. And so it makes you hesitate. And just that little pause allows a talented playmaker to get around the corner.
I want to show you one more play here from the 49ers. This is how it's just different. So you just saw everything kind of go that way. Now you look at this next play. How many times have we seen this? We see this kind of split zone here. You're going to see the tight end come across the formation. And then everything tells you, based off that the run is going to come over here. But look at even you see the ball handling with Garoppolo. Now you're going backside. We look at this second level. You can't be right. Watch 48. He takes a step down, and he gets himself blocked because he changes the angles. Kendrick saw it, but he's got to navigate around his own guys and try and get there. He's too late.
Yeah, too much eye candy. A different game than the one that Luke Kuechly played in, which is why he talked about, I don't know, it's a little tough, but I think he would have figured it out.
And, guys, one of the most talked about trends, at least in the pass game this year in the NFL, is the 2 deep safeties versus single high safeties, right? We've talked about it a ton here on the podcast, especially when diagnosing the issues that the Kansas City Chiefs have had on offense and how defenses were playing them. Luke Kuechly weighing in on that as well.
The league's transitioning, I think, to more passing, and that's kind of what Tampa did in the Super Bowl last year was keep everything in front, let the team run the ball. And then once you get into the red zone, like we've got to be really good and tighten up in the red zone and create and kick field goals. And it makes a lot of sense. And but I think the key to playing that split safety look is you got to be able to stop the run when you need to stop the run. Like, and if you're on first down and you show split safety and you check run, you got to be able to tackle it for 4 yards, right? If you give up 5, 6, 7, then you're kind of defeating the point of playing split safety because it's 2nd and 3, right? So I think if you can limit the run game to 4 yards on first down, if you're playing 2 or a deep 4 or something, I think you count it kind of as a win.
I think that's great perspective from Luke Kuechly, trying to tell you how defenses would adjust to teams adjusting to their 2 or split safety look as he's talking about there. How does that show up on tape in what we're looking at when you compare the 2 deep safety to the single high?
Well, I think the reason why we're seeing so much of this is because of this guy back there. When you look at Patrick Mahomes and what he's brought to the Chiefs, and people have seen them go up and down the field, and we've seen these single high looks, Buck, he's torched them, and that's why you're seeing so much of this too high.
Well, absolutely, because the explosive plays that we've seen from the Kansas City Chiefs and some of the other offenses will make defensive coordinators pause. And so the first thing to do is like, no. Take away the deep ball. Let's not give up the big shots.
All right, they go 3-by-1 here. This is what you see against single high looks. I've seen this a bunch with the Chiefs doing these Charger games over the years, and they love to run these deep overs because look at all this real estate here. You've got the one single safety back here. You've got all that room to operate. So either you're in man or you're in zone. You're going to pass this off to the linebacker in zone. Here they're in man, but still you've got a one-on-one shot, and you just let him win with all of that real estate you have to work with. It doesn't discourage you at the snap if you're Mahomes and you see a single high safety. Look, I know I got that number 3 receiver on that over. I'm taking it all day long.
Well, absolutely, because you see, he knows how much field he has to operate, and the challenge that you have, man or zone, being able to separate it. Too many big plays have happened from the Chiefs and some of the other teams. They discourage that.
All right, now look at what they're seeing a lot of now, and a lot of teams are seeing this too. Look where the marker is here. Look, that is not far to travel here, so you're going to get some underneath routes. But even with that little distance to travel, they're sitting back here in a too-high shell, and they're going to try and keep that umbrella on top of this offense, but they're playing man underneath, Buck, so you kind of get this little two-man look here, and what do you end up getting? You end up getting an interception. So there's no layups, there's no gimmies, and we're not going to give you those big shots. The answer to it?
You got to run the ball.
You got to run the ball.
And most offensive coordinators are not committed to running the football. That's why defensive coordinators are sitting there too-high shell.
And you want to get those 6 to 7 yards, not allow Kuechly to tackle you for a gain of 4.
Absolutely.
All right, more to come on Move the Sticks when we come back. A look ahead to the final game of Week 12. It's a tale of two Washingtons from the state of Washington. Seattle trying to get their season back on track against the Washington football team. What we're watching for next. All right, Thursday night football just a couple of days away as we get set for Week 13 in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys and New Orleans Saints, two teams who played on Thanksgiving in a normal game week now, getting back to another Thursday night edition here. Of course, you can catch this here, NFL Network, Fox, and Prime Video, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Big news, though, for the Cowboys. Head coach Mike McCarthy among those testing positive for COVID-19 within the Cowboys organization and will not be available to coach for his team against the Saints on Thursday. So some big news there. Also, big news in the NFL just in fact, Christian McCaffrey, who has missed time already this season, will now miss the remainder of the season after suffering an ankle injury, and the Panthers lost to the Dolphins here in Week 12. And, man, for McCaffrey, is hit a bad run of bad luck here in the injury game. What does this mean for the Carolina Panthers, who back in, weeks 1 through 3, then we're talking about one of the most exciting teams in football.
Yeah, and the bad news has gone from, okay, you've picked up Sam Darnold's number for next year on the 5th-year option. Now it doesn't look like he's going to be the guy. You make the trade for Cam Newton. Initially, okay, not good now. And now you have this McCaffrey news. It's kind of from bad to worse in Carolina right now.
Yeah, it's bad to worse. And how do you build around – your offense is really built around number 22, Christian McCaffrey, so you don't have him. Where do you go from there? Bad luck for Christian McCaffrey, bad timing for the Carolina Panthers.
And this year, I'm telling you, the anti-running back crowd is going to have a field day. When you look at Derrick Henry, who's hurt, Dalvin Cook just got hurt, Christian McCaffrey just got hurt. All 3 guys got paid.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook torn labrum and a dislocated shoulder this last week, expected to miss some time. Quick thought, Monday Night Football, Seahawks and WFT.
Well, I want to see. Look, the Seahawks. These are not meaningless games. They have to show that they're close enough to keep this group together going forward. So I'm keeping my eyes on this one. See if we don't see a shakeup in the offseason in Seattle.
Not only that, we're still talking about a first-year offensive coordinator. Let's see if they can do something to figure out how they can have enough imagination to build this team out next year and beyond.
And guys, Washington not out of it in the NFC East. I mean, especially with the Cowboys dealing with this COVID situation now, and you got the Eagles who just lost at 6-6. This is a big game and a big opportunity. Don't miss it, like those ones we talked about in the Elite Eight for the Washington football team tonight on Monday Night Football. Thanks for being with us here on another Monday edition of Move the Sticks. Be sure to tune in Tuesday, special episode on Lincoln Riley joining USC.